welcome back to my channel. My name is Black Aram. I'm a content creator and I create videos on fashion, fragrance, beauty, hair, everything look good, smell good. I saw somebody saying 2024 was hell for us and 2025 is our redemption year, and I couldn't agree even more. So today's video, I just want to talk about the fragrance trends of 2025 because we have seen the trends of 23, 24, especially because in my view, like with me personally, in the past years, probably say 22, 21 and before, I wasn't really following fragrance like that, except like just keeping up with wherever I have access to seeing these things, not as much as I am right now. So I didn't really know what was dropping when and whatnot. It was only a select few that I knew about. So now that I'm more in depth into the fragrance world, I'm starting to see more and more videos on fragrances and what to expect and whatnot. The only reason why that's the case is simply because I was scared to do this. I wasn't sure if I really could do it, but now that I just decided to just deep dive and do it after my mom encouraged me to do it, I am here. You may notice that my voice sounds a little bit raspy. I was not okay. I was a bit sickish, so that's why my voice sounds a bit off. That's why I've been also delaying filming, because I wasn't sounding right. I was all clogged up and sounding a lot crazy. So now that I feel much better, I'm hoping that I figured I might as well just film, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get through this video without any struggles. Now, as we all know, 2024 was the cherry, the almond, and the vanilla year. I think more than anything, a lot of fragrances were also very vanilla forward. I feel like 2023 fragrance trends that transitioned into 2024 were definitely cherry and almond. That's my opinion. And last year, as much as there was a reduction in terms of the fragrances with the almond note, but it was still there. Cherry was still big last year as well. Vanilla was big last year. I can't remember the other ones. So because that's not what we're here for today, we're here for the fragrance trends of 2025. Getting into the first one is marshmallow. We already have marshmallow fragrances on the market. Oriana by Perfumes de Marly is one of them. Kilian's Love Don't Be Shy, the brand new one that just launched by Kayali. Yum Bougie Marshmallow. Those are one of the fragrances that have marshmallow. I'm pretty sure there's more to come as the year goes. So the next trend of 2025 will be boozy accords. This includes notes like rum, bourbon, and whiskey, cognac, those kind of notes. Initially, I never really liked the smell of alcohol because it was more so the smell of the alcohol that is used to make fragrances versus an actual boozy note in a fragrance. So I was never really into the idea of alcohol in my fragrances because I figured it would be that kind of unpleasant alcohol smell. I've smelled quite a couple. Yeah, I think so. One of them I can mention is definitely Kilian's Angel Share, and that is one fragrance that I could say definitely for sure is one of the best boozy kind of fragrances. It smells incredible. It opens with top notes of cognac. The best part about this alcohol note in this fragrance is that it's not, how do I put it? It's not super spirit-like, where it's just, you know how it feels almost like a vapor that just attacks you. It doesn't feel like that. This one is super smooth, as smooth as Hennessy. If you've ever drank Hennessy, it's just as smooth on the palate as Hennessy is, but like on your nose. Another fragrance is Lattafa's Teriyaq, especially the newer Teriyaq. I'll mention the newer Teriyaq because Lattafa's Teriyaq Intense. The original Teriyaq, I cannot remember if it does have a boozy note or not, but this one is the one that just launched. I think it launched just late last year, towards the end of last year, And the top notes are saffron and bergamot. The middle notes are plum liquor and cinnamon. Base notes are amber, tonka bean, and benzoin. Haven't smelled this one either, but I think it's a gorgeous perfume. I'll tell you this much. I think I've fallen in love with Lattafa fragrances without even having to smell them. I just feel like easily I could fall in love with it. So that's definitely one of the fragrances that you could go check out if you want something that is very bougie. I mean, something that is very boozy. Probably smells bougie too. I mean, who's to say it doesn't? Next on the list, we have power fragrances, like beast mode described best kind of fragrances. These are the kind of fragrances that are on you, everybody's gonna smell. The kind of fragrances that announce you before you arrive, the kind of fragrances that leave a scent trail, the kind of fragrances that after you walk out of a room, somebody can smell you were there. And they are, I think they started gaining popularity not so long ago. It's only, I guess that's what's mentioned also as a 2025 fragrance trend, that more and more people are now looking into the beast mode kind of fragrances as opposed to the softer, more skin scent kind of fragrances that we're used to. Because to be honest, most fragrances throughout my life have never really been that intense. The only ones that I remember having any kind of intensity were mostly men's fragrances. There were some years of women's fragrances that had a level of intensity to them, but it wasn't all of them. Now, in my opinion, honestly, for me, the fragrances that tend to have that beast power, beast mode kind of strength, mostly are niche. That's not to say that there aren't fragrances that aren't niche or that don't have the niche price tag that aren't beast mode like that. There are fragrances that do have that kind of strength and power, but they aren't niche, but they are not super like intense. Now, I personally feel like there's been a change in the world with everything. The measurement of things are now ridiculously different. 30 milliliters now practically this small, like this small. Versus in the 2000s, it was a lot bigger than that. So even with the quality of things, in my opinion and observation, things have changed. So with fragrances, I feel like designer fragrance used to be potent. They were powerful, they were strong, and that's why they made a good impression with people. They're the kind of fragrances where like you smell them, you're like, okay, you know that that person spent a pretty penny for the fragrance. Now I feel like they're somewhat washed down and they are no longer as intense as they used to be. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. They're no longer as intense as they used to be. If I were to put it in price range, let's say that designer fragrances were for like 7 to 1,000 something maybe, and then niche fragrances would start saying maybe at 3,000 and upwards, right? And then the affordable fragrances were anything basically sort of like, or mid-tier, they were like 500 to 700, and then the cheaper ones were like underneath that, and those were the ones that you knew they're not gonna last long. You're just gonna wear them within an hour or so, pretty much gone. And the designer fragrances were the ones that were like super intense. I've never come across niche fragrances back then, so I wouldn't really be able to tell you if there's any changes within niche fragrances as from then versus now. Versus I can tell you like about luxury fragrances, like designer fragrances and some luxury, yes. Back then they were super intense. Now I feel like what they really just did is sort of, let's say this is the chart, so to speak. Imagine there's a price range chart here. Now this is designer fragrances. They just pretty much went here in terms of the intensity, the quality, but the price stayed pretty much the same or increased. And now when you get to a fragrance that costs like under 700, by chance you might find that it smells intense for quite a couple of hours, but most of them are really pretty much there for 2.5, 3 hours by chance. And any fragrance that's 500 or 600 and less, that one most likely is going to be gone in an hour. Woolies fragrances, this particular one, the WBT, the jewel range, I think that's what they call it. Those ones have beautiful scent profiles. They're gorgeous fragrances, but they don't last you very long. Like an hour, they're gone on the skin and on paper. So do that. And what I feel is that at 600 Rand, I feel like, I mean, it should be a little bit better. 600 Rand to spend on a fragrance that's not even going to last past an hour. That's not going to make it past an hour. It feels like a waste of money. I'm not going to lie. Even Zara fragrances, there are those that can get you to 3 hours. Some that can even pass a little bit of 3 hours. Example, Golden Decade, Red Temptation, they definitely can make it past the 3 hour mark. Nude Bouquet won't even make it to an hour. Fields at Nightfall, an hour, a little over it, it's a skin scent, that's done. Cherry Smoothie will definitely give you an hour. By chance it might make it to 3 hours if you overspray. So for the price ranges of those, and mind you, those you can buy them for like anything from 300 to 800, while the Woolies ones are 600 Rand, period. That's the standard price, but they don't last very long. So now with the designer fragrances, now they last at the price range of what should be less in terms of the price tag. They don't last as long. You can overspray it obviously, and there are those designer fragrances that are beast mode that perform really loudly. For instance, Elisab's Le Parfum, you spray that one, I guarantee you're gonna have hours on that one. Tom Ford Black Orchid, definitely you spray that one, that one is going to give you beast mode performance, no questions asked. As for other fragrances, you're gonna need to overspray it, and then I think maybe you might just get that kind of beast mode, which I would say, for example, Versace Crystal Noir. I definitely believe that that one can give you that kind of longevity, as well as Zadig and Voltaire, This Is Her. But the ones that I feel like it might not necessarily be beast mode like that, even in performance, even if you overspray them. Marc Jacobs Daisy, I saw a video by Namolina, she said it doesn't last very long. I don't know, but yeah, that's just it. So when it comes to beast mode fragrances, but there are niche fragrances that aren't hefty on the price tag, meaning like anywhere from 4, 5, 10,000 rands. They're below that, and they give you that kind of beast mode performances. One of those I definitely will say is Lattafa. I hear a lot of people talk about that it has a great projection, it's intense, it lasts very long, it lasts for hours, people are gonna smell you, it's gonna leave a great impression. Now another brand is Niche Parfums. The thing about it is I haven't smelled anything from them yet, so I really wouldn't know. I don't have anything to say, and I don't have a lot of people who talk about it like that for me to verify if it does or doesn't. So, but Niche Parfums, and it's a South African brand, it's one brand I would also suggest you check out. Next, Tangy Gourmand. Now we're moving in 2025 from the sweet, yummy, decadent kind of gourmands. We're moving more so into the tangy kind of gourmands. These are the gourmands that you expect from your fruit notes. For instance, your cherries, your blueberries, your raspberry, lemons, what else can I talk about? Pears, peaches. They're gonna give you that tangy profile to it, but are still gourmand. They're not gonna be as sweet and decadent and edible as the marshmallows, caramels, vanillas, and praline and chocolates of 2024. So one of those, they're going to involve mostly fruity kind of gourmand. And also here, I'll tell you from Marie Claire, some of my information is from the Marie Claire website. I think this person's name is Chikumbu, they referred as she. So yeah, says we're also seeing a shift in emerging. A shift is emerging, and sweet fruits are also stepping into the light as the next main character. Notes like strawberry and raspberry with their juicy, tangy sweetness are becoming increasingly popular. So basically, when it comes to the Tangy Gourmands, the star notes we should be expecting to see more at the forefront are strawberry and raspberry. Since 2023, 2024, there's been a lot of berry trends. Berries were at the forefront, mostly cherries. They were at the forefront of the fragrance trends 2023, 2024. So in 2025, we're looking more to strawberries, we're looking more to raspberries. This one is cherry, but it's a berry forward kind of a fragrance. It's Tom Ford Lost Cherry. Now, a fragrance that has tartness to it, which is like the trend of 2025, tart gourmand, is Tom Ford Bitter Peach. Yes, that's the name of the fragrance. It's called Bitter Peach. It's very bitter in the beginning, but as it dries down, it has this almost sort of dried peach kind of a smell. You know, it has this sort of jammy-ish, but not necessarily jam, not stick. It's thick. It's kind of how a dried peach would smell. It's unmistakably peach. It's gorgeous. It's sweet, but it's not super sticky, super gourmand type of a sweet. It smells delicious. It's warm. It smells very luminous. Very perfect for the summer, spring-summer weather as well. Angel Nova by Mugler has top notes of raspberry and lychee. Middle notes is damask rose. Base notes are akikala wood and benzoin. Oh, another fragrance that will suit perfectly, complement this trend a lot. Burberry Her has top notes of strawberry, raspberry, blackberry, sour cherry, blackcurrant, that's super berry, mandarin orange, and lemon. The middle notes are violet jasmine. The base notes are musk, vanilla, cashmere, and woods. Woody notes, ember and oak moss, as well as patchouli. That's the perfect fragrance to really fit into this trend, to really give you the fullness of this trend. Maximalist the same way as Beast Boot. The kind of fragrances that are loud, that are very there, that are in your face, not the subtle kind that are just minding their own business. No, these ones are gonna be in your face. You're gonna see them. You're gonna smell them, not see them. But they're gonna make you look around to see who is it that is wearing the fragrance. One of the perfumes that I love a lot for the maximalist trend definitely has to be perfumes of Marley's Valaya. It is very intense, it's very in your face, it's very potent. It's not a shy wallflower kind of a fragrance. Very much like, as I've mentioned, Elie Saab's Le Parfum, Tom Ford's Black Orchid, Zadig & Voltaire, This Is Her, the original This Is Her. Those are the kind of fragrances that are very loud. Everybody's gonna smell you, everybody's gonna know what that fragrance is about. They're gonna smell you, they're gonna love it, they're gonna want to come close. As well as Creed, Queen of Silk. Gorgeous, floral, very unique kind of a fragrance with that very beautiful, soft vanilla base. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a fragrance that they're gonna smell, as well as Lineage by Wade. It's definitely another fragrance that I definitely feel like people are going to smell you coming from a distance. It's aromatic, it's fresh, it's very light, it's very fun kind of a fragrance. Another fragrance that I would want to mention on a more affordable price point, that fragrance would have to be two actually. Zara's Golden Decade, as well as what's the other one? Red Temptation, which both, by the way, Red Temptation is the dupe for Baccarat Rouge by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and Golden Decade is the dupe for YSL's Libre. Libre is also another fragrance that's very intense in projection. Those are the kind of fragrances that you can expect for maximalism. It doesn't even matter what the notes are. It's just gonna be loud. It's gonna be in your face. People are gonna smell it. People are gonna know that somebody really sprayed down today. Next, we have fruity notes. Now, these fruity notes are going to be centered around fig, pear, pomegranate, which are gaining prominence. I haven't smelled any fragrance that is pomegranate forward. There is one I smelled with fig, but the problem is I can't remember which one it is. It smelled good. Pear, there are couple of fragrances that have the note pear. There's English Pear and Freesia by Joe Malone. Zara's Juicy Fusion, that's an affordable one. I haven't seen it in store, so I don't know how it smells. Lancome Idole, love the fragrances. That fragrance, Juliet Has a Gun. The name of the fragrance is Pear Ink, and it's a unisex fragrance. Top notes are pear, middle note is ambroxan, the base notes are musk and ambertolite. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm just gonna let it go. So citruses are gonna be big this year. Think your lemon, think bergamot, think neroli, think oranges, tangerines. Now, a fragrance that I really love that is that's very citrus forward is Capri in a Bottle by Kayali. It came as part of the vacation set last year, dropped last year around our autumn-winter season. It has notes of, top notes are sugar and lemon, middle notes are raspberry and freesia, the base notes are vanilla and musk. Coco Chanel Coco Mademoiselle Eau de Parfum. Now the best part about this one, it's very bold, it's very strong, it's powdery, it's citrusy, it's very musky as well, it's very loud in projection. The citrus is not necessarily the kind of citrus that, in my opinion, transcends throughout the way of the fragrance in this fragrance. So that's another fragrance that I would suggest if you want to try out citrus forward fragrances. The fragrance is called Daisy by Marc Jacobs. It's Daisy Ever So Fresh. Now this one is the one that's super citrus forward. It had top notes of mango, pineapple, and mandarin orange. Middle notes are orange blossom and rose water. The base notes is cashmere wood. This one is super citrusy, but in the most beautiful way possible. You smell the different kinds of fragrances, like the orange blossom, the mandarin orange as well. The I guess because of the mango, the orange blossom came out a tad bit sourish. But that, like I said, is a compliment of the mango, because mango tends to be very sour in fragrances, hardly ever sweet. So it's the kind of fragrance that gives you different facets of citrus in different performances. It comes with different nuances of fragrance. It's not just one straight kind of a citrus experience. Now Kayali's Capri in a Bottle, it's a bit more linear. The citrus is not very faceted, but it's not like just boring, just plain out lemon. It has other facets, the florals and other notes, but it's the citrus, particularly in it, is a bit more linear versus this Marc Jacobs Ever So Fresh. This one has multiple different facets of citrus. So yeah, that's the fragrance I would definitely suggest you should check out if you like citruses, or if you want to dip your foot in fragrances that are very citrusy. Now for a niche one, I definitely would suggest Perfumes de Marly's Galaya, because it is very citrusy with the orange blossoms. You get to smell it, but it's not like super intense. It's absolutely gorgeous. Alright, moving on to the next one. This one is about the signature range. Basically, this is more of the brand releasing signature range in terms of more than one fragrance all at once, giving you the same idea with different fragrances, but all in all they have a certain kind of cohesion, a certain story they are following behind, versus them just dropping a single fragrance every now and again. This one makes it more easier for consumers that find themselves a bit frustrated, a bit confused, not knowing which one to try. When it comes to ranges, it makes it a lot easier for you, number one, to experience the fragrances, the brand, and what kind of fragrances they produce, and also to give you a little bit more of a curated delivery of fragrances. it'll help you make easier decisions in terms of what fragrance that you might want to try, because to a certain degree they're gonna have a similarity about them, something that mashes them together. It'll help you understand a lot better, like, okay, if it's floral, it's this way, if it's citrus, it's this way, if it's that way, with a certain familiarity that makes it a lot easier for you to pick which kind of fragrances you would want. One of the brands that did this, Dior, La Collection Privée by Christian Dior. You would know this one that have the black bottle caps, the black caps. That's the same idea. It makes it a lot easier for you to go exploring with the brand, the kind of fragrances that they will be offering. Now, brands that launched fragrances for the first time ever for the house is Fendi. Dropped fragrances last year. They also did the same thing where they dropped a range of fragrances that you could go smell, try out, find out which one you would most prefer, that are in a very curated kind of a manner. As well as Balmain, they also dropped their first fragrances ever, and they decided to drop a signature range to give a bit of versatility, and also I guess it kind of gives them a bit more space in dipping their feet and kind of almost in a way throwing things to see which one lands the best with people, which is great because as a brand it can give you a better, wider understanding of what your consumers would most likely expect from you as a brand, versus just dropping one and then it doesn't do well, and it kind of dampens the spirit and the mood and the expectations of the kind of fragrances you can deliver as a brand. So that'll be one of the trends this year in 2025. Next up, we're gonna move to tea, morning matcha, specifically matcha. So what we'll be expecting is tea note fragrances like floral sweet almond blossom eau de parfum. It has top notes are juicy pomelo, syrupy passion fruit, grassy matcha, tonka bean, and it will have a bit of the nuttiness of almond as well. Or Le Labo's the Matcha 26 Eau de Parfum by Kilian Princess. This is one of the newer fragrances by Kilian. I think it dropped last year or this year. Basically, the name of the perfume is I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess. The top notes are ginger, green tea, and marshmallow. And you can find some of these brands in different stores like Skins, Arc as well, and other stores like Woolies, Fushini, Edgar's, Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This one is called Aqua Media Cologne Forte. So this one has top notes of verbena and bergamot. Middle notes are fennel and hedione, I think. And the base notes are matcha, tea, musk, and woody notes. Basically, this is a very fresh, very light, airy kind of a fragrance. There's Loewe Agua 44.2. Top notes are kumquat, yuzu. Middle notes of lotus and lily of the valley. Base notes are matcha, tea, white musk, and seaweed. Alright, next on we're gonna move milk. Milk is going to be a very huge trend in 2025. Lactonic fragrances are going to be the one. Now, one of those I'm going to make an example of is it's going to be Elisab's Girl of Now, as well as again Perfumes de Marley's Oriana because they both have whipped cream in them. The perfect one also is This Is Me by Zadig and Voltaire. It has this gorgeous creaminess to it. An affordable one that I really want to talk about is Zara's Fields at Nightfall, which is the dupe for the Zadig and Voltaire. This is her, and it smells gorgeous. It's creamy, it's lactonic, it's very yummy, it's very smooth with the nuttiness, especially the Zara fragrance. Now, okay, and one that has a creamy note, Maison Margiela Replica Coffee Break Eau de Toilette, which you can find at Arc. The notes are coffee accord, lavender, milk mousse accord, and vanilla. There's also Molton Brown milk musk eau de toilette. It has musk, ambroxan, vanilla, milk, pear, peach, cedarwood, and tonka bean. So that's a fragrance I would definitely be interested in trying. Next, we have oceanic kind of fragrances, or marine like kind of fragrances with marine notes. Light Blue by Dolce and Gabbana. Top notes are Sicilian lemon, apple, cedar, and bellflower. Middle notes are bamboo, jasmine, and white rose. The base notes are cedar, musk, and amber. It smells very aquatic, very perfect for the beach, very oceanic. But it's not a fragrance I like personally. I don't know why. I just cannot do the fragrance. It just, no. Another one is Acqua di Gio. I don't know how to pronounce this, by Giorgio Armani. Another fragrance is Maldives in a Bottle by Kayali, as well as Maui in a Bottle. They're very oceanic, very beach vibes, very outside, very marine-like, very hanging out on a yacht on a yacht in the ocean, and it's just vibes. Now, Maldives in a Bottle is rosemary and lemon at the top. Middle notes are ylang ylang and banana. Base notes is coconut milk. I enjoyed Maldives in a Bottle more than I did Maui in a Bottle. That one was my favorite. Gorgeous, very aquatic. Those are the kind of fragrances that are like give you the perfect idea of marine like kind of fragrances. In moving on, niche in 2025, we're seeing niche becoming more accessible than it was in the past years. Before, it was hard to get niche fragrances. Outside of the price tag, niche brands have been making it a point to make the fragrances less accessible. But now in 2025, even before that, with stores like Skins launching in South Africa, we've seen more accessibility to niche fragrances like Le Labo, like Byredo, Kilian, Perfumes de Mali, Creed, Diptyque, Juliet Has a Gun, Amouage. So many different brands, that have been coming through, and they're becoming more niche. Brands are becoming more accessible and a lot less gate-kept. Next up, we're looking to sweet and light fragrances versus the sweet and heavy fragrances that we all know. Now, by sweet and heavy, you know, the praline, the chocolate, the caramel, those are very dense, very thick. Even vanilla tends to be quite dense, very dense, very thick kind of fragrances, and syrupy. They're very dense to the palate. But in 2025, we're expecting more lighter, more airy fragrances. One of these I'll suggest, like Maui in a Bottle by Kayali, Cherie by Kate Spade. That's also one fragrance that's very fruity, very floral, but it's also very light and airy. It's not heavy on your nose. It's something that we're gonna have a bit more fun with. Now, this one is not necessarily, it's sweet and it is light, but not obnoxiously sweet, not super sweet. It can be heady, so does it count if it's heady but it's light? That's Amouage's Lineage. Very mint forward, aromatic. It's very aquatic to a degree, very fresh, very light, but it's heady. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that, because at this point I'm like, okay, but if it's heady, does that then mean it's really light like that? But I'll mention it and leave it at that. So we're expecting very airy, very sweet, airy kind of fragrances. They don't necessarily all have to be aquatic, or they could be sweet and floral as well. Another one, it's mists that do more, basically. Body mists that do a little bit more than just skin scent. We know that Lanceric has them. Coty has very affordable body mist. I don't wear body mist because my body can't take body mist, so I wouldn't, you know. But one of the ones you could try that I really did feel smells absolutely gorgeous, obviously the Lanceric ones. This one in particular is I Heart Marshmallow. I think there was I Heart Vanilla that I did like versus the fragrance I Heart Vanilla. So But yeah, Rare Beauty is coming out with it has fragrance mist. What do I mean coming out? Rare Beauty Find Comfort Body and Hair Fragrance Mist in Awaken Confidence. This one has sweet uplifting notes of peach and flower blossoms. Basically, Kayali did drop body mists that are basically created in inspiration of existing, that are the body mist reiteration of existing fragrances. The Kayali body mist will involve, they are limited edition though. It will involve Vanilla 28, Love Face Burning Cherry 48, and Yum Pistachio Gelato 33. Now, if I did fragrance mist, I definitely would buy Vanilla 28 and Yum Pistachio Gelato 33. I love those Kayali fragrances. They're gorgeous. They smell amazing. Yum Pistachio, it's milky. That's another electronic fragrance. Yum Pistachio is milky, it's sweet, nutty, gourmand, vanilla, ice cream. Did I say vanilla? I'm not. Yeah, I think it does have vanilla. And Vanilla 28, vanilla. It's a bit spicy. It's woody. People say it's sweet. I surprisingly don't find Vanilla 28 as sweet as most people are describing it to be. It's just not that sweet on me. So yeah, we're basically expecting body mists that do way more than your typical body mist, because we all know that body mists don't really do all that much. They don't last very long. They're just there and then they're gone. Also, like even the ones for your hair, which those ones that I really love. I really love when, you know, imagine you have braids, or even if it's a wig, like you move your hair and just flaps out the fragrance out in the air. Gorgeous way to try a fragrance, especially if it's a fragrance that has a fragrance mist. You can try it that way. It's a lot easier that way. But yeah, next we have baked goods. We have anything from like cherry pies, cupcakes, cakes. That's another trend we're expecting for 2025. Biscuits, anything baked that you can think of that smells delicious and mouth-watering. That's what we're expecting for fragrance notes in 2025. Moving on, spiritual scents. Now this one is one that kind of caught me off guard and got me quite confused. Like spiritual scents, like what do you mean? At this point, I feel like this word has been thrown around so much in 2023 and 24, and I feel like nowadays we're on the trend of making words lose their meaning. Anyway, so basically these are the kind of fragrances that supposedly are supposed to amplify you, like your self-expression, your emotional well-being, your spiritual awareness, your connect to more than just it smelling good, to connect to how it affects your mood, how it affects your state of mind, and all those things. I don't really know about this trend, but it's one trend that I'm just like, you know, yeah. A brand that has these, unfortunately I don't see any brand that I know is available in South Africa, but I'll just mention this one because it's quite a popular brand. Charlotte Tilbury launched a collection of emotions line, which is fragrances that are basically based on that, but also expect them to do a lot with crystals, to do a lot with star signs, so the zodiac signs, and just things like that. Relatively, that's what it's going to be. But yeah, it's not a fragrance that I'm just gonna run to try. I mean, a trend that I'm just gonna run into. Year-round tropicals. Now there's like the kind of fragrances that I like. They smell like a beach, they smell like a holiday, they smell fun, amazing, you know, and all that. So now basically the trend for 2025 will be more so focused on the tropical fragrances that you're able to wear throughout the year. They're not just those ones that you can only really wear in the spring summer season. This will involve Kayali's Utopia Vanilla Cocoa, Lancome Le Nutrezor Nude, Valentino Born in Roma The Gold Bomb, the Gold Donna, sorry, the Gold Donna, as well as Mancera Coco Vanille. Yeah, those are basically the kind of fragrances that are very tropical, but like also they're quite coconut based. Also fragrances that have like a mango note, like Wilhelm Perfumes Mango Skin, I think it's called. Just a bunch of those kind of fragrances. Those type of fragrances, typically tropical, you would find notes like coconut, you'll find notes like mango, you'll find notes like pineapple, passion fruit. Also like something like Easy Miyake's Le Eau de Easy Pour Homme, but that's a men's fragrance. Hermes Un Jardin sur le Nil. Guys, this is not my first language, so of course I'm gonna butcher it. Creed Virgin Island Water. Definitely Silver Mountain Water as well by Creed. Those are the kind of fragrances that you can expect that are very tropical. Another tropical fragrance that you can try that's niche but has an affordable price you can find on Superbalist is Lattafa's Yara Tous. It has top notes of mango, coconut, and passion fruit. Middle notes are jasmine, orange blossom, and heliotrope. Base notes are vanilla, musk, and cashmere. Those are the kind of fragrance. That's a fragrance that's also a tropical that would be great for year round. So moving right along. So basically these are like the 25 trends of 2025. And an interesting trend, expected trend of 2025 has definitely for me got to be rice. Rice is going to be a very popular trend for 2025. I've never come across a fragrance that has a rice note, but it definitely would be something very interesting to try out. One of the ones I see mentioned here is Le Eau Papier by Diptyque and White Rice by Dianam. I don't know that, but I do know Diptyque is available at Skins. And another trend that definitely is on the rise, dupes. Dupes. At this point, everything is being duped. So when it comes to fragrances, there will be a lot of dupes. I think the one brand that's particularly known for having dupes or creating dupes is definitely Zara. Zara is known to be creating the best of the dupes of a lot of fragrances, a lot of your very popular fragrances. Now, as much as it doesn't create dupes, rather it creates inspired by. Basically, an inspired by versus a dupe. A dupe is meant to be, for instance, it's meant to be this but not this. Say this but pink, if it makes sense, right? Without the name, without the branding, but it's basically the same thing. Versus an inspired by, when it comes to fragrances particularly, versus an inspired by. An inspired by means it was inspired by this, but it's not really this. It has the same idea of it, the same sort of facets, but not exactly the same. One brand that I feel does this really well definitely has to be Juice Fragrances. They have a range of fragrances, women's, men's, unisex fragrances that have particular fragrances that are inspired by your very popular fragrances, ranging anything from Creed to Versace to Tom Ford to Elisa. But like, you can pretty much find anything. The most popular perfumes that you see consistently, continuously, over and over and over, most especially the designer ones. That's the ones I've seen mostly. There's a few of the niche inspired fragrances, and yeah, that's where you're gonna find the best of those kind of fragrances. A lot of them smell pretty much exactly like dupes, but a lot of them are also quite different, that have a slight bit of differences when it comes to the original. For instance, Seduction by Juice Fragrances is inspired by Tom Ford's Black Orchid. It smells more like Black Orchid Eau de Toilette than it does smell like the actual Black Orchid, which is great. Exactly inspired by, but not exactly the same thing. So when I smelled that fragrance, the Seduction fragrance, great fragrance by Juice, then I smelled Tom Ford's Orchid Eau de Toilette, they smell pretty much identical, but the main inspiration for that fragrance was actually Black Orchid, not Orchid Eau de Toilette. Eau de Parfum was the inspiration. Another one that for me I feel like it's a dupe, Versace's Crystal Noir. It is Juice Fragrances. I'll put it up on the screen, I forgot it right now. It smells exactly like that one. It just has a tad bit more soapiness in the opening, and what else did I say? I forgot, but it smells pretty much exactly the same. But you're definitely gonna find dupes. I mean, Golden Decade is the dupe by Zara, is the dupe for YSL's Libre. Red Temptation is the dupe for Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge. Fields at Nightfall is the dupe for This Is Her by Zadig and Voltaire. So, and then Cherry Smoothie is the dupe for Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. So you see, dupes are definitely on the rise, and Zara is the place that I could definitely suggest for more affordable dupe options. That's where you can go and check it out. The Mixed Bars Whipped Almond is a dupe, definitely in my opinion. A dupe for the what you call this? Elie Saab's Girl of Now. Very pistachio, very creamy, very gourmand. Same thing, exactly the same, except that I found Girl of Now to open a bit spicy. That one doesn't open spicy, it's just sweet all the way. I'm wearing it right now, it smells like it. Now it's a bit more floral, still has this vanilla, a bit of sweetness, it's more floral, versus that one still keeps the gourmand throughout. Girl of Now still keeps its gourmand notes throughout. So definitely that's what we're expecting for 2025, is the rise of dupes. Lavender is another trend that also we're expecting for 2025. It's gorgeous, it's floral, a fragrance that has a gorgeous lavender, interesting lavender note is Burberry Goddess. That vanilla, it's quite spicy, which I don't necessarily like, but I do love the fragrance nonetheless. Gorgeous kind of a fragrance. YSL Libre also has a fragrance, has a lavender note, and I think that's about it. I quickly want to mention this. I saw this and I found it very interesting. If you ever had questions about fragrance, probably 2025 is the year to start your business, because it says the worldwide fragrance market is projected to generate a revenue of $61.94 billion in 2025. That is a lot of money. I mean, at this point I'm just like, if only ever I did. But yeah, so yeah. Yeah, and that's it. Those are the fragrance trends of 2025, the notes that we'll be looking forward to as the year progresses. That brings me to the end of this video. However, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you consider subscribing to my channel. Please smash the subscribe button, click the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Leave me a comment about which trend you're looking forward to the most. If you enjoyed the video, Lord willing, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.